All right, I am back with another truth bomb. I'm going to give you guys all a glass of the truth serum because that's what we're going to talk about here. We're going to talk about the facts and we're going to talk about the truth and we're going to look at some real quotes here from Anthony Joshua. And first off, I got to give a shout out to a guy who I really disagree with 99.9% of the time. Hatman Strikes Back, because this video is inspired by him, because he made a video about this. The article that was originally posted on Sky Sports in their boxing section, the name of the article is Ruiz Jr. versus Joshua 2. Anthony Joshua was screaming about weaknesses. And the article was based off of some quotes from Anthony Joshua in that episode of The Gloves Are Off with him and Andy Ruiz. So let's take a look at the quote in question because, ironically enough, as Hatman did state, this video was taken down by Sky. Hey, what's up, everybody? What's up, Scant Rants? What's up, JC? What's up, G Funky 84 Boxing? How you guys doing today? Thank you for joining me today. So the article was taken down by Sky Sports. Ruiz Jr. versus Joshua 2. Anthony Joshua was screaming about weaknesses. And like I said, this was taken directly from the episode of The Gloves Are Off with Joshua and Andy Ruiz. And Johnny Nelson, obviously the moderator. So let's take a look at the quote here because I was able to get the original quote here. I went back and listened to the episode of The Gloves Are Off, and this is what Joshua said. Now, this is very, very, very telling here. During the episode, I forget what Johnny Nelson said to him. He asked him a question about, has he been working on things and what's he been doing to switch things up in this training camp to improve upon for the second fight. And this is the quote that Anthony Joshua said in this episode. He said, "I've been screaming this for 2 years in my gym. I keep going this way, I'm going to get beat soon." So this is very ironic because after the first fight, everyone was calling for Rob McCracken's head, basically Joshua's trainer. Okay, because they felt as though he didn't do a great job in the camp. They felt as though that he really hasn't developed Joshua over the years, hasn't really corrected any of the weaknesses over the years, and still basically trained him like an amateur fighter. So if Joshua made the statement that he's been screaming this for 2 years in his gym, so who's he been screaming this to? Obviously, in his gym, it's got to be his trainers, right? His handlers, the people that he's working with, right? So if he's telling the people that he's working with that if he keeps going this way, he's going to lose. If he contemplated losing for 2 years, and basically if he saw things that were wrong for 2 years and he did not correct them, then you have to ask yourself, who's to blame here? Because if he's yelling, if he's screaming, he said, "I've been screaming this, not just telling this to my team. I've been screaming this to my team." So obviously there's been some breakdown between him and his training staff, because apparently, as I said, there's been a steady decline since that Klitschko fight, in my opinion, and a lot of people's opinion. A lot of defensive holes in Joshua's game, a lot of weaknesses that haven't been corrected, and they've been continued to be exploited fight after fight after fight. Okay? And Joshua has been seeing this for 2 years. But now all of a sudden, he didn't care about it because he was still winning and getting by with it, but he felt as though that he would lose eventually. So once again, the confidence level of Joshua has to come into question. If he's been thinking that, hey, I'm going to lose for the last 2 years, not that I could lose, but I'm going to lose, that's a confidence problem, guys. And that's something that you don't want to bring going into the biggest fight of your life next Saturday. So everyone's talking about, Andrew Ruiz. Why is he losing weight? He came in at 268 for the first fight with Joshua. He's only going to lose about 5 or 6 pounds. So he's going to basically come in at around 262, 263-ish. Okay? People are saying, "Oh, why is he doing that? It's gonna fuck things up for him. If there's any, if it ain't broke, why fix it?" But people think this is what people don't do. They don't do homework, they don't do research, and they're lazy, in other words. They don't go above and beyond to try to look at things not just on the surface, but look deep into things like the Beeb does. Because the Beeb does research. And what did the Beeb find out? And what did he know? What did he know right from the jump anyways, without even really having to look too far and dig too deep? The Beeb knew that against Alexander Dimitrenko in his fight prior to the Joshua fight, what did Andrew Ruiz weigh, guys? He weighed 262 pounds, which is 6 pounds lighter than the 268 pounds that he brought into the ring against Anthony Joshua. So apparently, because he had the shorter camp, that his conditioning may have been a little subpar. If you compare the Joshua fight to the Dimitrenko fight. I mean, Andrew Ruiz has been as low as 250 pounds in his career. But no one's really concerned about Joshua, who's always been 250, 247-ish. This guy looks 10, 12 pounds lighter. And he's peeling this weight off of a physique that was virtually devoid of fat. But nobody really cares about that. They're sitting there criticizing the guy who actually needed to lose the weight, who they said in the first fight was too heavy. They already said he was too heavy, but now that he's losing weight, he's too light. Which one is it? Which one is it? So you guys make no fucking sense. AJ looks sunken in. He looks depleted. Okay? He looks like he crash dieted. Okay? So there, all of a sudden, Andrew Ruiz is just basically tweaking things, just sharpening the tools, okay? While Joshua is taking his toolbox and fucking throwing it in the trash. And what's he doing? He's going out and buying a whole new set of tools, a whole new set of tools with the toolbox that he's never used before. And meanwhile, he's going to take this new set of tools in the toolbox into the biggest fight of his life without breaking them in, without ever using them before. That would be like a basketball player going into the biggest game of his life with a new pair of shoes that aren't broken in. Or a baseball player who bought a brand new glove, Game 7 in the World Series, didn't break it in, but he's going to break it in the most important game of his life. So Joshua is going to, from top to bottom, revamp everything in the biggest fight of his life. He's going to try something that he's never tried before. He's going to be probably the lightest he's ever been in a professional fight because he looks it. I could be wrong, but he looks it. And now all of a sudden, the guy who's the big mid-range slugger, the guy who walks through guys, the guy who just mauls guys, the guy who beats people with punching power and his physical strength and, his overall size and physicality. Now all of a sudden, this guy's going to turn into Vladimir Klitschko, just like I said in the other video, and he's going to be this boxer that he really never was in the first place. Okay? But no one's really questioning all these things. Everyone's just wants to question Ruiz losing 6 pounds and saying if it ain't, you got guys like Freddie Roach saying he's better fat. Really, Freddie. That makes a lot of sense. He's better fat. Meanwhile, he's going to be losing body fat that he has, with all due respect, plenty of. He has an abundance that he could lose, but he's only losing 5 or 6 pounds of it, while the other guy's losing 10 or 12 pounds, and a great deal of that is going to be muscle mass. And we already talked about how important muscle mass is in a physical, in a body from a physical standpoint to an athlete. A leaner body generally, not always, because Andy Ruiz is an outlier, but generally a leaner body is a more efficient body in athletics. Okay? So that's the thing, guys. And here's another thing, too. A lot of people are sitting there saying, oh, look how much Joshua has accomplished in such a short period of time. But then on the other hand, when he lost, what did they say? Oh, he really didn't have that much experience. Still in a developmental stage of his career. You know, even though the guy won an Olympic gold medal, he won 3 heavyweight titles, unified 3 titles. Okay, even though he did all these things, okay, now all of a sudden everybody's saying he doesn't have a ton of experience. Andrew Ruiz is the guy that had all the amateur experience. He had more fights. He had a more well-rounded amateur career, and he had obviously more professional fights. Andrew Ruiz, I believe, is about, I think he's 33-1. Joshua's like 21-1. And ironically enough, Andrew Ruiz turned pro in 2009. Joshua turned pro in 2013. So Andrew Ruiz has 4 more years of professional experience and about 11 or 12 more fights than Anthony Joshua. But ironically enough, they both fought for their first world titles in 2016. So Joshua did it in his 16th pro fight. Andrew Ruiz, I believe, did it in, I think, his 28th or 29th pro fight. Okay? So you guys are all high on how Joshua accomplished so much in such a short period of time. But then on the other hand, he's not experienced. He doesn't have, you know, the background and the amateur pedigree that Andrew Ruiz has. So which one is it? Once again, which one is it, people? Is he this great fighter? Well, he is a great fighter. Obviously, he accomplished a lot. But is he this phenom that was able to do things in such a short period of time that no one else has been able to do? But was that really a benefit to him, having him win a title against Charles Martin in his 15th or 16th pro fight, right? 16th pro fight, excuse me. Having him win that title, was that a curse or was that a blessing? Or was that a blessing or was that a curse, I should say? Because now, once you win that world title, you're in there with the big boys. And a lot of times these big boys, particularly Deontay Wilder, Andrew Ruiz, Tyson Fury, these guys have more experience than you. Okay? So, which one is it, guys? That's what we have to ask ourselves. So all of a sudden, Anthony Joshua is going to turn into this sleek, slim, trim gazelle of a guy who was going to be able to move like a gazelle, tiptoe in the ring. This guy who was a physical knockout artist, all of a sudden, he's going to turn into Vladimir Klitschko, Chris Bird. He's going to be a boxer now. He's going to be a finesse guy, a guy that he never was. So in one fight, all of a sudden, he's just going to turn into this prototypical slick Pernell Whitaker, Sugar Ray Leonard, Sugar Ray Robertson, Vladimir Klitschko, Muhammad Ali type fighter that he never, ever was prior to this fight. And he's going to do all this in the most important fight of his life, going to make this transition. While Andrew Ruiz, everyone already said Andrew Ruiz was a better boxer than Anthony Joshua, had better boxing skills. He's the more cerebral guy. He's the smarter, more instinctive boxer. He's the guy that puts shots together better. He's the better inside fighter. Joshua was never really a good outside fighter. He was a mid-range guy. Go back and look at Joshua And when he has been most successful in fights, go back and look at the Vladimir Klitschko knockout. Where did he land that uppercut? That was the beginning of the end. That was a mid-range uppercut. Go back to the Dillian White fight when he knocked him out. Another mid-range 45-degree half hook, half uppercut. Okay? Povetkin, mid-range short right hand, left hook. He's never been this guy from the outside. Every time he boxes from the outside, he's got that lazy jab. And then he tried to switch things up in the Povetkin fight, and he had his hand down by his waist here, trying to be Floyd Mayweather, and he was getting tagged with right hands by Povetkin in a fight that I had him losing. So all of a sudden, he's going to turn into this guy who boxes well from the outside, which he never was in the first place. He never was in the first place. So going into the rematch, usually the guy who's the better boxer, usually the guy who's the more skilled, that's the guy who wins the rematch. Anthony Joshua said, if I go in and I do the same thing I did in the first fight, then I'm going to lose again. Well, no offense, Anthony Joshua. What you did in the first fight is basically all you know how to really do. That's who you are. You can't reinvent yourself. Customato, once again, I'll quote the great Customato. People who are born round don't die square. Anthony Joshua is round. He's not square. And he can't turn into a square for one night. It's not going to happen, people. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So, once again, Anthony Joshua, wearing his heart on his sleeve, saying something that should have probably been better left unsaid. But this is the thing. This is what he does. This is what he does. And everyone sits there and says, oh, well, Joshua's being real. He's being honest. He's letting us know that he's got nothing to hide. He's being honest with us. He's being real with us. Okay, he's being real with us. So he's telling us that he's not confident about his skills. He's telling us that he knew he was going to lose, and he felt that way for the last 2 years. He's also telling us that he was questioning his training and his fights prior to the Ruiz fight, and he didn't like what was going on. These are all things he's revealing to us. So as I said, this was a regression, guys. This was a process. And I speculated this on my other video I made earlier, and he confirmed it for me, and the gloves are off. He confirmed it. He confirmed it. Okay? Basically said, if I keep doing what I'm doing, I'm going to lose. But he kept doing it. And he has been doing it for the last 22 fights. And in the 23rd fight, it didn't work anymore. So the big question is now, can all of a sudden, in the 24th fight, a guy who's 30 years old, who's been fighting for a while now, it's not a guy who's 20, it's not a guy who's 19, not a guy who's 21. Can you take a 30-year-old fighter that has been winning one way and one way only, okay, been winning the same way since he turned pro, since he was an amateur. This is what he's been doing his whole career. So can we take this guy, or can he change? Can his team take this guy and change from top to bottom and turn himself into a slick boxer that he never was in the first place? Because that's what he's telling Ruiz he's going to do. He's telling everyone he's going to move a lot. He's going to box from the outside. He's going to fight more intelligently. You know? And here's another thing. And I don't agree with this. I don't think Joshua quit. I don't think Joshua quit. I don't think he quit at all. Okay? I don't think he quit at all. I think, like I said, I think his body shut down on him. But Ruiz was asked, do you think he quit? At first he said, a little bit. Because Ruiz is a nice guy. Okay, he's a nice guy. He tried to tiptoe around it a little bit. He didn't want to insult Anthony Joshua. But then Johnny Nelson came out point blank and said, listen, did he quit? He said, yeah, he quit. Anthony Joshua basically defended himself, he defended himself to Johnny Nelson. He was looking over at Johnny Nelson, didn't even look at Ruiz. He looked right over to Johnny Nelson and saying, well, if I quit, then how did I get up 4 times? I never said the words I quit, which were all valid points, but he never really went back at Ruiz and clapped back at Ruiz and said, I didn't quit. Like, he didn't challenge Ruiz's statements, really. He didn't challenge it. He didn't challenge him at all. Jeff Aston says, I hope AJ knocks Ruiz out. I know you do. I know you do. And if he doesn't, then we're going to have to put you on suicide watch. All you friggin' AJ fans are going to go on suicide watch if AJ gets knocked out again, because I don't know what the fuck you're going to do. You guys are going to be like jumping off cliffs. Guys are going to be jumping off cliffs. Okay, so we gotta open up an AJ hotline the night of the fight, just in case AJ loses, for all you guys. We're gonna have to do that. I could be wrong, but I don't think AJ quit. But the thing is Ruiz looked him straight in the eye and said he quit, right to his face. And Joshua turned away and started talking to Johnny Nelson and started pleading his case to Johnny Nelson. And he said it in a very, diplomatic way. He didn't even really, he didn't clap back at Ruiz. He didn't challenge Ruiz's statements. Just accepted Ruiz's statements. He just accepted Ruiz's statements. He didn't challenge them. Once again, showing weakness. Basically saying, well, how did I get up 4 times? Oh, well, when the referee asked me if I wanted to continue, I didn't say I quit. All this shit. All this shit. Joshua just, I don't know, man. I honestly believe that he just doesn't want it anymore, man. He just doesn't have that passion. Doesn't have that passion. And supposedly we have neutral judges. We have a neutral referee. Got neutral officials here. We got neutral officials here, and I think it's going to be on the up and up with the scoring. I really do. I really do. I don't think Ruiz is going to get robbed if he's winning the fight. I don't think so. Because Joshua really can't fight on the inside. Really can't fight well on the inside. He's really not a great outside fighter either. Because when he's on the outside, that's when he starts getting tagged with right hands, because he throws his jab out very slow. And that's how Klitschko countered him over the top with right hands. That's how Povetkin was hitting him with right hands. And even Joseph Parker hit him with a beautiful right hand. Then, inexplicably, the referee steps in and stops the action. When Joseph Parker lands a beautiful right hand on him, and he stops the action. Why? Why did that happen? Why did that happen? Here's the thing. Do I think Joshua was a weak person? No. But he's got a character flaw, guys. He's got a character flaw. You could be the greatest at what you do in the world, but a character flaw, a questionable character, can undermine all the talent and skill in the world. Look at Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton was probably one of the greatest presidents of modern times in terms of his record, but all he's known for is his scandals, all the scandals he had. So his character flaws, and with which one could say he had a poor character, a questionable character, basically erased all of the good things that he did as president. This guy was a Rhodes Scholar. He was an extremely intelligent man, but he wasn't smart enough to know that if you're going to get your dick sucked, you go to a motel. You don't do it in the White House. So as smart as this guy was, he did a stupid thing with the fucking intern in the Oval Office, thinking no one was going to catch him, or thinking nothing was going to happen to him. Right? Same thing with Donald Trump. Donald Trump is a very intelligent guy, whether you love him or hate him. But again, says a lot of stupid things, does a lot of stupid things. It's a character flaw. And Joshua's character flaw is he lacks confidence in himself. He just doesn't believe in himself 100%. And he tells you that. He tells you that. And he does it openly. Does it openly without any reservation. And he does it in front of his opponents. These are things like he's like, oh, I basically was screaming to my team that I was going to lose. That if I don't change things. And he was saying it for 2 years straight, and he never changed it. He never changed anything because deep down inside he knows he can't change it. He's never going to be a slick boxer. He's never going to be this guy who's got great head movement like Tyson Fury. You know what I'm saying? He's never going to be that guy. That's not who he is. That's not who he is. So, as talented as he is, as skilled as he is, his character flaw of questioning himself, his lack of confidence, is going to undermine his skills and has undermined him these last couple fights. That's the problem. So you Joshua fans who are in denial, who think it's okay to openly say in public and to your opponent and to anyone who listens that you don't know if you're good enough, that you felt that you were going to lose for the last 2 years, that you constantly question your abilities, and you're thinking about Deontay Wilder, and that's weighing so much on you that it affected your performance in the Ruiz fight. You're saying all these things, and it's a pattern. This is a pattern that you AJ fans are ignoring here. You're worried about the 90,000 seat stadiums. You're worried about all the money, but you're not thinking about the man behind the money. The man behind the money. This is a guy I have never in my life seen someone in such a lofty position. Heavyweight champ of the world, 3 title belts, Olympic gold medalist, arguably, one of the, right alongside Canelo, as the biggest moneymaker in the sport, definitely the biggest moneymaker in the heavyweight division. This is a guy that just has so much and is in such a phenomenal strong position, who was in such a phenomenally strong position, have such little confidence. I've never seen someone in any sport, any walk of life, a businessman, a guy who is you know any guy, any person in a position of power, any person who's like a world champion or a top level elite level athlete. I have never seen someone like in a position like this lack so much confidence. I've never seen this. Thank you, Dale. Ruiz in the rematch. AJ changed in the first bout. Awesome. Thank you, brother. So that's the thing. That's the thing. Aaron Ross says, personally, I think he earned what he has. It seems as though you may disagree with that. Of course he earned what he had. He won the fights. But again, you guys are the ones that say he lacks experience. You guys are the one that say he's still developing. You guys are the ones who are also questioning him. So what does that? I mean, what does that mean if you're questioning him and you're basically his fans? So that's the thing, and he still has to overcome. I agree with you. Always looking at self. He says he hasn't recovered from that concussion. Yeah, he still has to recover from the psychological effects and possibly the physiological effects of that concussion and that knockout or that TKO. He still has to overcome all that stuff. I'm going to put a link in the description box if anyone wants to come on and join me. I have no problem allowing people to come in because this is a great topic and we can have some fun today. Anybody who wants to jump in here. I'm surprised Ralph left, man. He couldn't deal with the heat, man. That's my man, but he left. He couldn't deal with the truth bomb. Yo, Beeb, the real heavyweight crown is still up for grabs. Yeah, it is. It is. Tyson Fury's still out there. He's still got some stuff to prove as well. I agree. I agree. I agree. You know I'm a Tyson Fury fan. You know I ride with Tyson Fury. I've been riding with Tyson Fury. I'm not jumping off the Tyson Fury train. Jeff Ashton says, I love this fight. I can't wait for Saturday. Neither can I. The link is in the description box. Anybody want to jump on? Jump on. Let's jump on. Who wants to debate here? Who's got some insight? Who wants to refute any of the points that I'm making right now? Because I'm willing to talk to anyone about this fight. Ralph didn't like Ralph left. He was a little bit intimidated because I raised my voice. But everybody knows when has the Beeb ever come on here and whispered? Can anyone tell me when the Beebs ever come on here and whispered? That's not what we do here. Like I said before, we let our balls hang on this channel. We let our balls hang on this channel. We're men. We got testosterone flowing through our bodies. We ain't got to come on here and whisper. We don't have to be all civilized and elegant and all that. I mean, we're talking about sports here, brother. We're talking about boxing. Dudes fucking knocking each other's heads off. And we're supposed to like whisper here? Like we're talking about ballet? Fuck out of here. That ain't what we do over here. That ain't what we do over here. We're not little punanis here. It's not what we do over here. So the link is there. I guess no one wants to smoke. Nobody wants to smoke. Andrew Ruiz. TKO, 9th round. That's what it is. That's what it is. Andrew Ruiz G-checked. He G-checked friggin' Joshua, man, with the gloves are off. He G-checked him. Told him right to his face he quit. And Anthony Joshua turns to Johnny Nelson. I didn't quit, Johnny. How can I quit? I mean, I got up 4 times, Johnny. Got up 4 times, Johnny. I mean, how can I have quit? Andrew Ruiz is looking at him like this. And he turns and looks at fucking Johnny Nelson. That's like getting in a fight in the schoolyard, right? You're getting ready to fight in the schoolyard. The kid pushes you a few times, and the teacher's like 3 feet away from you. And instead of clapping back at the kid and pushing him back, you look at the teacher to come break it up. That's what Anthony Joshua did. He's looking over Johnny Nelson. Instead of the guy that called you a quitter is sitting 2 feet away from you, looking you dead in the eye, said you quit, and you're looking over at Johnny Nelson. What did Johnny Nelson do? What did Johnny Nelson do? You're looking over at Johnny Nelson. What's up with that? Looking up at Johnny Nelson. I like the over, 100%, Jeff. I was about to thank you, Jeff, so much for bringing that up because I almost forgot about that. I was thinking about this the other day. The over-run is 7.5. I'm picking Ruiz by 9th round stoppage because I think Joshua is going to be a little bit more. He's going to be like less engaging. And the reason why I think Ruiz is going to catch up to him is I think Joshua is going to tire late. I think Ruiz is going to work the body, and that's going to enable him to stop Joshua in the 9th round. But I think Joshua is going to be less aggressive. Therefore, he may last a little bit longer because he's going to be less aggressive in this fight. That's how I feel. That's how I feel. That's right. That's right, Scants Rants. Johnny Nelson couldn't save him, though, right? Johnny's a fucking shit talker, though. He loves to stir the pot, man. He made sure he asked that question, too. Do you think this man quit? You know why? Why did Johnny ask that question, guys? Because maybe Johnny thinks he quit. Maybe Johnny thinks he quit. So here it is, man. And here's another thing. This is a rumor, and I stress this is a rumor. I'm hearing that he's getting beat up in sparring this camp too, Joshua. I heard he's getting smacked around in sparring too for this camp. That's what I'm hearing. That's what I'm hearing. I don't think he quit either. I don't think he quit. I don't think he quit. I just think his body shut down on him. He was separated from his faculties. Listen, anyone that is concussed, anyone who is concussed, okay, they're not able to control their body. Yeah, if you have a concussion, you're fucking dizzy, you're all discombobulated, you're in no position, okay? You're in no position to be in control of yourself. You're just not. There's just no way. There's no way. What's up, Burgess Meredith? How you doing, brother? There's no way he was in control of his faculties. And in his defense, when the referee did stop it, he had an incredulous look on his face like, what are you doing, ref? He expected the ref to let him continue. I don't think he quit. But I do think he was broken mentally in the fight. I do think he was broken mentally in the fight. But he is a prideful person. He wanted to continue. He was willing to go out on his shield. Let's not take that away from him. He lacks confidence, but he doesn't lack heart. There's a difference. There's a difference. I never said he lacked heart. He lacked heart. Never. But he questions himself. And you could say, Beeb, everyone questions himself. Yes. But do they question themselves to the point where it paralyzes them? where it weighs on them, where it weighs on them to the point that it affects them mentally and psychologically. Everyone questions themselves, but can they overcome questioning themselves? Can they overcome that? Can they overcome the doubt? Can they rise above the doubt? Apparently he can't. He didn't. Like I said, the crown was too heavy. He couldn't wear it anymore. Who am I to say that? I couldn't wear it either. But again, I'm not him. I'm not gifted like him. I'm not blessed like him. Okay? I've questioned myself so many times in my life. I've gone on interviews and I said to myself, I don't know if I'm going to get this job, and if I do get this job, I'm not so sure that I'd be good at it. But I took a shot. I sat down at the table. I sat down in the chair in front of that person who at the time I felt was intimidating. And I said to myself, I'm not so sure if this person likes me. This person's gonna hire me. But do I say that to them? I really want this job, but I'm really concerned that you're not gonna hire me. I'm really concerned that you don't think that I'm the right fit for this job. You think that guy wants to hear all that? I'm being real with him, but you think he wants to hear all that? All you guys, Josh was just being real. Okay. Once again, some things are better left unsaid. I'm not going to sit there and tell that guy, I don't know if I'm good enough to do this job. I don't know if you think I'm the right person for this job. I don't know if you're going to hire me. I don't know if you think I'm going to be a good fit. I could do this job and all of a sudden find out that I'm going to suck at it. Am I going to sit there and tell that guy all those things, even though all that shit is racing around in my head? No, I got to sit down in that chair and I got to take all that shit and put it way, 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 way back in the brain. Okay? That's the shit we think about later. We're in front of this guy. We don't think about that shit. This is where we put our fucking confidence hat on, and we tell this guy that we can do it. Okay? We don't wear our heart on our sleeves in all situations. Okay? People don't need to hear that. People don't need to hear that shit. Sylvester Stallone. This is a guy who's a winner at all facets of life. This guy's an alpha. Okay? And he did that documentary with AJ and Andrew Ruiz. And I'm sure you all saw that, where they had all these guys talking about the fight. They had all the celebrities talking about the fight, whatever. All these people talking about the fight. All right? And one thing Sylvester Stallone said was Anthony Joshua's behavior after the fight was bizarre. He has never saw that before from someone who lost. And you could say, well, who gives a fuck what Sylvester Stallone says? Well, I give a fuck about what Sylvester Stallone says. You know why? Because Sylvester Stallone is alpha. Real, recognized real. Okay? He knows that that's not alpha what Anthony Joshua did. Anthony Joshua should be alpha. He's the heavyweight champion of the world. That's as alpha as you can get, ladies and gentlemen. One night, that's right, Dale. Thank you. That's as alpha as you can get. Okay? But he did not act alpha after that fight. Okay? So this is a guy, Sylvester Stallone, who had this script for Rocky and tried to sell it to everybody, and everyone was laughing at him. Okay? They thought it was a joke. But he didn't think it was a joke. He stuck with it. He hung in there. And he kept pushing and pushing and pushing. And he got this movie over the finish line. And arguably, this is one of the greatest movies of all time. This is a guy who's a winner. He's a winner. And he said, I've never seen this before. This was the most bizarre thing I've ever seen. This was his words. And he was the producer of the show. And he just couldn't fathom. Can anyone ever remember the last time they saw someone lose and they were as happy as Joshua was that after a loss? Can anyone ever tell me a time when that happened? Can anyone ever tell me a time when that's happened? And his own promoter said he was relieved that he lost. Can you imagine? Can you imagine that? This is just like uncharted territory, guys. We've never seen this stuff before. Can anyone tell me? Has anyone ever seen a guy that happy when they lost? Ever? That's what I want to know. So this is something again that Joshua has seen coming. He thought he was going to lose. He didn't feel as though he was going to hold on to these titles. He didn't believe he was going to hold on to these titles. He was questioning himself. He was questioning himself. No, I don't think Kovalev was happy. He had his head down. He was shaking his head. He was shaking his head. He wasn't smiling and happy. I don't think he was happy. He looked like he was down a little bit embarrassed. Joshua looked relieved. Kovalev didn't look relieved that he lost. Kovalev was winning the fight. And a lot of people, I don't think he was winning, but 99.9% of the people that were scoring that fight had him winning the fight. I don't think Ortiz looked happy after he lost. I disagree. I do not think so. Not at all. I don't think so. I think if that's a testament to respect for people, the way Joshua lost, you're taking it in context of him being weak. No, that see you just said that I didn't call him weak. You said that he's weak. So you just told on yourself, Aaron Rosas. You think that it's weak behavior the way he acted because you're the one that used the word weak. I didn't use the word weak. I think it's a character flaw. I don't think he hates losing. I don't think he's a weak person at all. I don't think that he's passionate about losing. I don't think he's passionate about winning, I should say, excuse me. I don't think he has that deep desire. I don't think it bothers him when he loses. I think mirror psychology 100% beat. Yeah. That's what it is. You guys know that what I'm saying is all valid points. And if someone else was doing the same things Joshua was doing, you'd be saying the same thing that I'm saying right now. But because you're so enamored with this guy, you Joshua fans, for whatever reason, this guy is your savior. This guy, you think this guy is going to make UK boxing the biggest thing in the world. And he has made UK boxing. He's done great things for the sport in regards to the UK boxing. There's no question about it. I mean, he's got a shitload of fans. What he's done is unprecedented in terms of fanfare. That's unquestionable. It's unquestionable. I am English, and I found his behavior Joshua strange. That's right, Mr. Pigeon. I agree, Mr. Pigeon Mike Tyson. I agree. But all these other Joshua sycophants, they just can't deal with reality. Like I'm a huge Tyson Fury fan. I love the guy, but I was very critical of the ESPN deal. I was very critical of him not going right into the rematch with Deontay Wilder. That bothered me. I didn't like it. I questioned it. Obviously, I'm not going to say I can't tell Tyson Fury what to do. That doesn't mean I'm not going to be a fan of him anymore. But I still questioned the decision. I didn't go along with it and say, hey, because Tyson Fury did it, I'm going to love that. I thought it sucked, and I thought it made no sense for him to fight those guys that nobody knew about. They weren't even American. So the plan was to make him a name in America, okay? And they showcased him in America against guys that nobody knew who weren't even American. But credit to Tyson Fury, he's such a great personality that this whole WWE thing really gave him some crossover appeal. People have really taken to him. He's lucky that he has such a great personality, and he's lucky that they were able to use that WWE angle to help him. But this whole Top Rank deal so far, I'm sure he's made a lot of money on it, but I don't think it's done anything to enhance his career from a popularity standpoint in America. And I'll openly say that. I call it like I see it. I am the biggest Tyson Fury fan probably on here. He's my favorite fighter in the sport of boxing right now. Tyson Fury is. But I hated that ESPN deal for the simple fact that I knew it would delay the Deontay Wilder rematch. It would put a monkey wrench in him fighting Deontay Wilder again. I wanted him to fight Wilder again. So he's going to fight him in February, Blues Boxing. What's different about it now than before? I'm confused. What are you talking about? First of all, Al Heyman didn't score the fight, and the PBC didn't score the fight. So blame the judges. Don't blame Al Heyman. Don't blame the PBC. I mean, what happened to Callum Smith last week? Was that a good decision? So, I mean, this happens all the time, guys. This ain't the first time this has happened. I mean, come on. So now you don't rematch the guy? So you're going to use that excuse that you're afraid you're going to get robbed, so you're never going to fight him ever again? How are you going to become champion of the world if you never fight him again? I don't understand that. Your statement makes no sense, brother. Bob won't allow judges to be picked by Heyman. Heyman didn't pick the judges, brother. What are you talking about? Do you know how boxing works? Al Heyman's not even a promoter. He's an advisor. He don't pick judges. The teams sit down and they're giving a list of judges, both teams, and they choose to accept or not accept the list. It has nothing to do with the promoter. The teams do that. What are you talking about? Again, you can't talk to somebody like me if you didn't do your homework and you don't know what you're talking about. The promoter does not pick the judges. Okay? You're given a list of judges by the commission, and both teams look them over. And if they have a problem with another judge or they question a judge, they just tell them. They just tell them, I don't like that judge. So they scratch that judge off the list. You know what I'm saying? What's going on in Highlands Boxing? So you don't know what you're talking about. Once again, people making comments that don't understand how the sport of boxing works. Promoters don't pick judges. The commission that you're fighting in, they're the ones that give you the list of judges that you can choose from. There's a list. The commission does that. Promoter can't tell a commission what to do. We think this is the UFC? That's how the UFC works. This ain't the UFC. It's boxing, bro. Wrong sport. Next, you'll be telling me that the promoter can rank guys too. That it's the promoter's job to enforce mandatories. No, it's the commission. It's a commission. The sanctioning bodies do that, and the commission does the judges. Each state has a list of judges. So it is. That's exactly what it is, Dale. It's like a jury selection. Correct. Making stupid statements. But once again, this is what we have. Yeah, Heyman absolutely does have no influence. It's not his network. Now you're saying that Heyman owns Fox. Heyman doesn't own Fox, brother. Fox gave Heyman a deal. Heyman works for Fox. Fox doesn't work for Heyman, brother. Again, you don't understand you don't know the sport. If the promoter doesn't have a network or a platform to show the fights on, then the promoter's got nothing. You're going to sit there and say that Heyman can control Fox? You don't know what you're talking about, brother. His network. He doesn't own Fox. He owns Heyman LLC. That's his company, brother. And he was given a contract by Fox. Okay? Again, you don't understand how the sport works. And you know what? I'm not going to respond to any statement that you make. I'm not going to respond to it because you're totally not qualified to have this conversation with me because you don't know how it works. You're disqualified from the debate, brother, because you think that Al Heyman owns Fox. When Fox gave Al Heyman a deal, Heyman didn't give Fox the deal. If Fox doesn't give Al Heyman the deal, then guess what? Exactly. The judge from England scored. The judge that scored it a draw was from England. That was a fucking English judge. So you mean to tell me that Heyman picked an England? If Heyman was picking judges, he'd pick a judge from the UK. That's in his best interest. Again, disqualified from the debate. TKO on the first. You're done. Beeb cooked you. A lot of you guys talking, you don't know what you're talking about. So Eddie Hearn owns Sky. He can tell Sky what to do. Openly, just like people say, oh, it's Eddie Hearn's fault that the pay-per-views are this price. Has nothing to do with Eddie Hearn. He came out on a video during an interview and said, hey, this has nothing to do with me. I can't make the prices for the pay-per-view. That's what Sky does. That's what Sky does. The promoter doesn't have the power that you think he does. Promoter can't tell the commission what to do, can't tell the sanctioning body what to do, can't tell the network what to do. Look what the Zone did to Canelo. Canelo's pissed that they delayed his fight when he was fighting Kovalev, how they made him wait for an hour before he could fight Kovalev. He was pissed. But he couldn't do anything about it because the Zone is the fucking, they're the broadcaster. What was he going to do? Now you're changing the subject. Fury went to ESPN for the money. I don't understand why this is so hard for you to figure out. I'm a huge Fury fan. The ESPN deal. So you like him fighting Tom Schwartz and Otto Wallen better than listen, if you like those fights better than him fighting Deontay Wilder, I'm not going to argue with you. You're making no sense. You know what? I'm gonna block you because you're stupid. You're getting thrown out of here. You're getting thrown out of here because now you're aggravating me. I just can't have stupidity in my chat. I'm sorry. You're gone. He's fucking done. Anyone that likes the fact that Tyson Fury fought Tom Schwartz and Otto Wallen instead of Deontay Wilder, they are clinically retarded. If anyone likes those fights better than Fury versus Wilder or Fury versus Joshua, then they're clinically retarded. And with all due respect, I know that's not the politically correct term to use, but with all due respect, I'm not going to have a debate with someone who's mentally challenged. I'm not. You're stupid if you like those fights better. Anyone that's happy about those two fights that Fury fought on this ESPN deal so far, They're mentally challenged. I apologize for using the other word, but I get a little heated when people are when stupidity gets to a level that is you know, incomprehensible, then I just get upset. Did I like Wilder versus Spielka? Honestly, no, I did not. Thank you, Igloo. Good show, Beeb. But I will say that it did turn out to be an entertaining fight because I had Spielka winning the fight up until the time he got stopped. Did I originally like that fight? Absolutely. No, I did not. I did not like that fight. No, I did not. I don't think it was a bad deal for Fury to sign with ESPN from a financial standpoint. But in terms of him enhancing his brand and his name, I don't know if he did that. I haven't heard you say anything about that fight. When was that fight, Benjamin Franklin? How many years ago was that fight? You're getting close to being blocked too, because that's a stupid statement. You're talking about. So what are you gonna do? We're gonna talk about fucking. Are we gonna talk about fucking Danny Garcia versus fucking who's that guy he fought? That Cherry he fought. We gonna talk about that fight now? I mean, what are you talking about? What year was that fight? That was like in 2000 fucking. That was like fucking 5 years ago. Why would I still be talking about a fight in 2009 that happened 5 years ago? We're all biased. What's wrong with being biased? We're all biased, but I'm being objective. I mean, it's so stupid what you're talking about. You're going back, you're trying to talk about something that happened this year and comparing it to something that happened. Yeah, Rod Salka. So what about when Danny Garcia fought Rod Salka? Is that okay? I mean, what are we talking about here? What are we talking about here? Why would, I just told everyone that Tyson Fury is my favorite fighter, and I criticize my favorite fighter when I don't like something he does. Just because he's my favorite fighter, I'm not afraid to criticize him. But you guys don't do the same thing. UK, some of the UK fans are the worst fans in the sport of boxing because they're just so stupid. They're really not smart. I don't care. I'm going to say it. They're not smart fans because I'm just debating two people from the UK right now. One guy's telling me that he likes fucking Otto Wallen versus Fury and Tom Schwartz versus Fury better than Fury versus Wilder. This is what I'm debating with. And then another guy's talking about a fight that happened 5-6 years ago and comparing it to a fight that happened now. Here we go with, like, if you can't debate me with logic and you have to use whataboutisms, then you're not qualified to debate me. The ESPN Plus signed Fury because they're expanding to Europe in 2020 at the same time. The rematches. Hold on. The same time the rematches. Let me try, the thing moved. The ESPN Plus signed Fury because they are expanding to Europe in 2020 at the same time the rematch is happening. The network planned this out to benefit them. Now Alexander Wilson, that's how you debate. That's a good point. But again, from a fan standpoint, I had to wait 2 years for it. I wasn't happy. Now, does that matter whether I'm happy or not? I've had to wait for fights that I wanted to see all my life. Okay. That doesn't mean anything. Fuck me. Who am I? But what I'm saying is, at the time the deal was struck, I wasn't thinking about that. I didn't know the plans. And I wasn't happy with it. I'm just being honest. And this is me criticizing my favorite fighter. Sugar Ray Leonard, another one of my favorite fighters. When he fought Donnie Leon for 2 world titles on the same night, as I said several times before, I thought it was a circus. I thought it was ridiculous that you made Donnie Leon come down to 168 to defend his 175-pound title. I wasn't on board with it. See, I'm biased, but I'm objective. If my favorite fighters do something that I don't think is right, I'll say it. That's all I'm saying. That's my point. That's my point. 100%. Well, Benjamin Franklin, you apparently haven't been following my work if you think I've never criticized a Deontay Wilder opponent. So you're justifying Fury fighting Wallin and Schwartz because Deontay Wilder fought guys that you didn't like. So now you're saying that it's okay for Fury to do it because Deontay Wilder did it. Is that your argument? That's your argument? That's your argument, really? Okay, so you're justifying inappropriate behavior with other inappropriate behavior. That's what you're doing. So if your son comes home and tells you that he stabbed somebody in the stomach and he did it because his friend stabbed somebody in the stomach, you're going to say, "Oh, well, my son did it because the other kid did it," and that's how you're going to justify it. You're just weird, kid. You're just weird. Anyone can fight whoever they want. I don't have to like it. That's it. Anyone can fight anyone they want. If you like those fights better than Wilder versus Fury, I'm not going to change your mind. He just fought Fury and he fought Ortiz twice. I can only judge. I'm judging what's going on now. I don't care about what happened 10 years ago. Dude, when I was 10 years old, I was pissing the bed. What does that mean? What does that matter now? I don't piss the bed anymore. What does that mean? Does that mean anything now? What are you talking about? You didn't watch the show then. I said I wasn't crazy about the fight. I already said that. You didn't watch the show, brother. You're not watching the show. You don't watch the show. But I like Ortiz a lot better than Otto Wallin, I'll tell you that. And that fight turned out to be a good fight. Ortiz was winning the fight. I wasn't crazy about the fight. No, I was not. If you watched the show, you would have known that. But is Ortiz a better fighter than Otto Wallin? Yes or no? Benjamin Franklin, is Ortiz a better fighter than Otto Wallin? Yes or no? I guess we're not. I guess we're not going to get an answer out of Benjamin Franklin. Is Ortiz a better fighter than Otto Wallin? Thank you. He said yes. Okay. So who's a better opponent, Ortiz or Otto Wallin? I didn't particularly care for the fight, to be honest with you. I wasn't crazy about it. All you gotta do is watch the show. Okay, then. So what's your point then? Wilder has been fighting better people since the Fury fight than Fury has. Yes or no? No, you didn't ask for the rematch. You can't speak for everyone else. You don't know what everyone else wanted. I did a live cast that night, and I had quite a bit of people in the chat. Ortiz would beat Dillian White, in my opinion, and I still think he would beat AJ. I don't think Ortiz is a bad fighter at all. I think Ortiz would beat a lot of top heavyweights. To sit there and say Ortiz is a shitty fighter is ridiculous. He was winning every round before he got knocked out. Look at Dillian White. Like, he was being outboxed by friggin' Derek Chisora. Stop. I liked the pay-per-view. Wilder almost lost the fight. As was 100% correct. He almost lost the fight. Truth in his word. Yeah, he almost lost the fight. Again, I don't. Anyone could sell anything to me if it's boxing. I buy every single pay-per-view. I have never not bought a pay-per-view in probably the last 10 years. I bought every fight. I buy every fight. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter to me. I don't care. I don't care what anyone likes or what anyone says. Charlie Boxing. You guys say Wilder could be the biggest ever heavyweight puncher, but is he the biggest puncher pound for pound? Bigger than Julian Jackson or Adonis Stevenson? In my opinion, it's arguable, but I say yes. I think Deontay Wilder is the hardest puncher I've ever seen in my life. He hit Luis Ortiz on the forehead. The guy's face contorted, and he knocked him out with a punch to the forehead, which is the hardest part of the head. Fighters hit people in the forehead and they break their hands. In my opinion, Deontay Wilder with that right hand, he's the hardest puncher I've ever seen. That's just my opinion. I do think he's the hardest puncher, in my opinion. And I'm not afraid to say that. Ortiz did not look good against Christian Hammer. Well, this is crazy. We started this video talking about Joshua, but Edmund Valera was the hardest punch I've ever seen, says Alexander Wilson. Thank you so much. Yeah. Again, I mean, there's an argument for a lot. All these guys that are being mentioned, Donna Stevenson, Julian Jackson, there's an argument that can be made for these guys. I'm not going to say that an argument can't be made for these guys. I'm not disagreeing with it. I just have my opinion. That's all. I don't have a problem with it. I don't have a problem with it at all. To be honest with you. Do I think Wilder's a one-trick pony? I think he's got legit boxing skills. Yeah, I do. I think he knows how to use his jab well. Listen, he seems to be able to land that right hand every fight against everybody, and he's knocking them down every fight. Every fight that he's had, he's knocked an opponent. He's never had a fight. Think about this, guys. Every fight that he's had, he's knocked his opponent down. He's never knocked an opponent down. That's right. It's a pretty good damn trick. That one trick is good enough, you know? So just how I see it. Gerald McClellan also punched like a mule. That's correct, Revis. I agree. I definitely agree with that. So we're going to close this out. I'm going to ask the question. Because this fight's happening next week. And we're getting ready to preview this fight tomorrow on the Ringside Reporter podcast. And we will be doing a live commentary show next week. And I'm here to ask you guys, who do you like next week, Ruiz or Joshua? JC says Ruiz KO in 8. My pick is Ruiz KO in 9. What do you guys like? AJ via split decision says Rube 405. Anyone else? Ruiz KO in 10, says Dale. So Dale's taking the over too. Aaron Rosas says Joshua by decision. If Ruiz beats AJ, is AJ a hype job? And does that mean everyone he beat like white are bums? No, Ruiz is not. AJ's not a hype job. He just ran into a better fighter. AJ in 5, Joshua decision or late stoppage. It's like 50-50. It's a 50-50 fight. AJ by very boring decision. Wow. It's like 60-40 right now in AJ's favor here so far. Very interesting. Anyone else before we close this out? All right, guys. Thank you so much. As always, thank you for the super chats. Thank you for the comments. Thank you for joining me in the chat. Make sure you tune into the Ringside Reporter podcast tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. We will be previewing this fight. You can call in and tell us who you like, voice your opinion on the fight, break it down any way you like. And until next time, Beeb is out. Salute to everybody, and we will talk to you soon. Have a great day, everybody. Thank you.